Hi Cancer, it's Jenny here with your February Tarotscope. I have a single card for you for the month of February. The first 2/3 of the month is Aquarius season, and then the end of the month is Pisces season. I do have a little bit of a cold, so if I'm a little bit sniffly and groggy, bear with me. But the card that I have for you, Cancer, is the Knight of Swords reversed. So this is the way he looks the right way up. We have this dandy looking chap, lots of billowing pom-poms and red and white on his outfit. He's on a white horse. It's also got lots of red and white tassels, and he's standing on, like, it seems like a little dish or a trophy or something. Got a sword with him, got a little butterfly nearby, looking fabulous, and he's upside down like that. So we're going to see what the Knight of Swords has for us this month. Okay. Ooh, missed it. Okay, here we go. Knight of Swords. Here we go, Cancer. Personal consequences. Dolly's picture emphasizes the pompous and the playful. Besides their hard and metallic aspects, swords always have a lighter, elf-like quality, which on this card and in many other tarot decks is symbolized by the butterfly. What is highly unusual is the presentation of the key motif on a bowl or a dish. The knight appears to be more like a little tin soldier or a trophy to be put on a shelf. But this is nevertheless a very wise depiction. Living a purely symbolic life is one of the greatest dangers, but when acknowledged, a great task. If you live completely within and for the realm of the mind, you will be completely absorbed in your imagination, your ideas, and your perceptions. You might think the title of a doctor or a professor, an award or a medal will bring you the greatest happiness. To gather such trophies might become your most important goal in life. But because these trophies are nothing but symbols, your life becomes merely symbolic. In this rather chilling version of mental radicalism, you ultimately sacrifice your humanity for the sake of amassing trophies. This will lead to a shriveling up of your personality, which then can be shown around on a silver platter. Positive alternatives may vary, but they always have to do with overcoming the dangers of symbolic life and using the power of your mind to deal with real problems and to experience real happiness. In a positive sense, the pomp and the adornments of the horseman represent a colorful, rich, and liberated life, including a clear conscience, see the white color of the hat and the horse, and plenty of love, see the red color of the horse and its rider. Practical advice. Take your thoughts further than usual, risk greater commitment, and be more consequential and steadfast. Leave old thought patterns behind. Take your thoughts seriously and interpret them like dreams. Okay. Sorry, still a little froggy here. All right, so this card is always very interesting because, I mean, it's pretty on the nose of what it's warning, which is, not just living your life for these symbolic moments or for kind of racking up a list of things you've done or things you are that are based in, this icon idea that, like, I'm becoming an ideal or I'm becoming an icon, or if I do this, it means this about me and now I can kind of wave this around. It's like, collecting a bunch of certificates on the wall, but never actually doing anything in that profession, where you're like, okay, I've got something to show around, but I'm not actually utilizing it. I'm not taking it any step further to actually add value to my life or to the life of anybody else. The thought that kind of came to my mind is kind of like, the Instagram filter life of the show that we've put on, and I'm not just ragging on social media, we put on faces and we put on shows all the time, where it's, I've got the promotion, or I've got the perfect family, and look how my kids cleaned up on Sunday just because people were coming over, but we're actually all miserable, or wow, I tidied all this up so that I would look like this and doctored it all up, but the reality is something very different. So we can collect these kinds of pat on the backs of this vision, this view of what my life looks like, just to be able to take a picture, a snapshot of it, and show people, like, haha, this is what I am, without then actually having substance to it, either substance for yourself or substance for other people. So this card is, it's also not to make any judgments about the things that you follow. It's not to say that any of those things that can become symbols or trophies are an issue on their own. If you have goals, if you really do want to get that degree for that profession, if you really do have a particular lifestyle or look that you really want to experience, there's very much neutrality in the things itself you can pursue in this world. It's why are you doing it and what are you going to do with it? So if you're pursuing it for the check mark to then sit there and just say, yay me, this is the proof, I've externalized the proof of my value, or here's my resume as to why I'm a good, useful, interesting changing person, I'm proving it's there, it's outside of me now, then that doesn't have the same substance as you pursuing something for its own use, or to really integrate and keep that as part of you. But it's also just a part of you. The things that you do, the things that you know, the things that you feel, they are all little outcroppings and a part of you, but they are not the core of you. They're just things that you wear. They aren't you yourself. So if you then make that you and you put your whole soul into those things, that's when you make yourself this little trophy. You turn yourself into that symbol, and you dilute that actual core essence of you into just, that flat two-dimensional thing. So that's what we don't want to do, clearly, but we don't have to. This is really, living this tagline here: personal consequences, or risking greater commitment and being more consequential. It's allowing there to be consequences in your life. Consequence, again, is a neutral term. Consequence is just the outcome of the action, and what then happens, what falls into place. So our consequences can be absolutely fabulous, brilliant, and we love them. Consequences can be really, really uncomfortable and treacherous. But that's part of the living the actual life of substance requires consequences. Living life symbolically and being a kind of trophy icon is to avoid consequence. It's to avoid mostly because we're afraid of negative consequences, but that generally avoids all consequences, the positive as well. You get that certificate and you're scared of practicing because you don't, whatever it is, you're nervous of the consequence. And so you then live an inconsequential life. There's no consequence. There's no result that happens from that action. It's just flatline. It's just the trophy on the wall. So in order to engage with life in this really vivacious way that this, lovely guy's got a chance for, he's got all that flair, he's got to step off of the pedestal and actually ride out into the world and live with consequences, create consequences, take responsibility for those consequences, and keep moving through life. And then that will help not only for you to take consequences, that obviously this is not a subtle looking dude. Like he's not dressed drab. People are going to notice him when he's out there. And so people will notice you. They'll notice the consequences. Some of them may hold you to that, as they should. But they'll also notice you taking responsibility for those consequences, seeing that, yes, you experience difficult things, but you also experience all these highs. And then that's an example for other people on how to live their own life consequentially. If they've been unsure how to not live just an iconic life, then there's another example. The things that you do matter. This is part of the consequences. So many things, most of the consequences of our actions, we're never going to see. We're never going to know directly how we affect people. But that's part of this really great, we think of the butterfly effect. We've got the butterfly here. We don't really know what follows from something past one or two sort of obvious consequences. You never know what inspiration will do. What you behaving in your life, getting off of that pedestal, just behaving with consequence, how that will ripple for other people, and then you will be a part of the grand chain, the grand domino, the grand butterfly effect of how our lives are all interwoven and our consequences are all interacting with each other. So it's kind of scary. It's certainly a risk. There's no doubt about it. But that's the other option is, well, there's your life on a trophy. That's it. No consequences happen, good or bad, and that's always a choice too. So that's where we're at with this card. It's a really interesting opportunity, and it involves a lot of mental commitment. This is the sword, sword of the mind, and our thoughts and our beliefs. So we really do have to believe and commit to a consequential life in order to not, at the first sign of an uncomfortable consequence, just run back up to the trophy and say, nope, I'm going to stay up here. I'd rather not. So it does take courage. And that's really supported for the astrology this month. The first 2/3 of the month, like I said, is Aquarius season. Aquarius is all about charting your own course. It's all about going off into the unknown. It's also very much a kind of like, it's a rebel. It's like, I don't really want to do what other people are doing. I'm going to go be unique and different. So it's really saying, all these other people stuck on their pedestals and trophies, afraid of a consequential life, I'm going to go see what it's like to behave with this commitment and see what the consequences are. But one of the things about Aquarius is healthy Aquarius isn't just a rebel without a cause that's saying, I don't like you guys, I'm going to go do my own thing, but they're actually searching for something. They're searching for the new frontier, the new innovation, a new form of thought that they can then bring back with them to the community. Aquarius is actually deeply concerned with the well-being of the collective. They just don't look super emotionally involved. It's more of a mental engagement. They want to learn things and then bring them back for the greater good for the community. So it's a going out in order to come back. It's not just charging through my life to have consequences for me and I don't really care about other people. It is this goal that we are all to be affecting each other and be affected by each other. And that is a beautiful and scary thing, and it's not something to be avoided. So if you can charge out in Aquarius season with that rebel spirit, then towards the end of the month, we have Pisces season. And Pisces is actually really, really deeply empathetic, very, very emotional, very, very connected to others. So there's a really, really great sense of being aware of the needs and the feelings of others in what can feel very it can feel hard to feel very individual in Pisces season. There's more of a merging feeling like we're kind of all connected, but that's actually a really great way to not, to temper some of the aspects of going and being a rebel and charging off for a life of consequence, is to not forget that your actions do have impact on other people. To not forget that consequences are, some of them are uncomfortable, and we do still need to care about other people. So it's good to start, be in action. Don't be afraid of consequences, but not that we're running from consequences. Not that we're just saying, oh, F you to other people. I don't really care what you feel. I'm just living my best consequential life. No, we still need to care about other people. And Pisces season really, really helps us be connected and feel that reciprocity of, my actions impact you, your actions impact me. Let's try to do our best to really take care of each other and hope that all of our actions and our decisions that we make are going to hopefully have the greatest benefit and ripple effect to everybody. And to not have that concern for other people cripple you from doing nothing, and again, running back to that pedestal because you're afraid of hurting people, but to, just really lean into that community aspect and the empathy and care for other people. So that's what's going to be at the end of the month in Pisces season. So looks like we've got lots of lovely things for you, Cancer, coming up. And this might feel like this might feel a little scary for you. You may have a kind of a tendency to only want to do good things and be kind of scared of uncomfortable consequences and maybe want to hide in that shell if bad things happen. So it does require courage. I know that you can do it, especially after the work that we've done this past month. Best of luck for you, Cancer. If you do want any additional support, the Aquarius season Pay What You Can forecast is up and available on my YouTube channel. That's going to give a little bit more information on the transits that are happening. I highly recommend it. We finally are out of retrogrades. We've been in retrogrades almost all of last year, and we have a lot of forward energy, which is really going to help get you off that pedestal and into that life of consequence. So do check that out. I appreciate all donations, and I will see you next month. Take care, Cancer.